Now that we've got the user interface set up, let's work on the code blocks. First thing we're going to do is we need to create two more lists. Right now we have one list where we store the breadcrumbs for the trail that we're recording right now. We're going to add another list that's going to hold the names for the trails that we create. And we'll call that list trail names. And then we need one more list that's going to hold all of the trails that we created, all of the breadcrumbs. And since each trail is a list of breadcrumbs, what that means is this list of trails is really a list of lists of breadcrumbs or markers. And in memory, this is the way that it would look. Here's our list of trails, and within that is a bunch of lists of markers. So each one of these represents the markers in a different trail that the user recorded. Since we now have a list of trails, we need to update hide markers. In particular, what we need to do is go through each of the trails in our big list of lists and hide each breadcrumb in each of those trails. We'll start by getting a trail from our big list of lists of trails, and then within that trail we'll get each breadcrumb. And this will allow us to go through each trail that we've saved, go through each breadcrumb in that trail, set the marker to visible. Now, when the Start Stop button is pressed, we have two options, because now this is doing double duty. If no trail is being recorded, we want to start recording a trail. If a trail is being recorded, we want to stop recording a trail. And the way we can tell if a trail is being recorded is by looking at the name on this button. So if the name on the Start Stop button, if the text is Start a Trail, then we know they're clicking that button because they want to start recording a trail. Otherwise, they must want to stop recording a trail. Now, the first thing we need to do when they start recording a trail is ask them what the name of the trail is going to be. And we're going to use the notifier, as I said. We're going to use the show text dialog method. This will display a dialog box to the user with a title and a message, and give them a text box to enter text into. And when they hit enter, then it will return the text that they entered. So the message that we'll ask the user is, what is the name of this trail? And the title will be trail name. And this works similarly to the way a list picker works. The way a list picker works is you tell it what elements are going to be in the list before it gets displayed, and then after the user chooses something, it goes back in a different method, the after selection method. In this case, we're going to use the after text input. So here we know the user wants to start a trail. We're asking them what's the name of the trail. When they hit enter, it comes back into here. And first thing we're going to do is hide the markers. Then we're going to create an empty list for the breadcrumbs in this trail. And then we're going to set the drop breadcrumb button to enabled. So this way they can start dropping breadcrumbs. We're also going to put the name of the trail in our label. And that is the response that we got. So we've displayed a dialog box, asked them for a name for the trail. They've entered the name. We've come in here. That name they entered is in this response. So we're going to set that, use that to set the text in the label. Now we need to update the name, the text, in the start stop button. We don't want it to say start a trail anymore. Now we want it to say stop recording trail. So when they press the button now, we're going to want it to stop recording the current trail. We're also going to disable the list picker for the display trail. Because once they're recording a trail, we don't want them to be able to display a trail in the middle of that. And then finally, we're going to recenter our map to our current location. This way, the map displays wherever it is they're starting their trail.